Hi everyone, it's Alia or Cake Legend, and in honor of the new Netflix series that came out yesterday, I wanted to make some Avatar: The Last Airbender themed sugar cookies. However, I do feel like some of these cookies were a bit of a fail. So while this is going to be a bit of a tutorial, I am going to explain what I'm doing. I'm also going to talk to you guys about why I feel like these cookies were not executed as well as they could have been. To start, I made some sugar cookie dough, and I'm going to be posting the recipe for this probably in my next upload, so when that is up, you'll be able to find it in the top right hand corner. Made a bunch of circles and baked them. And then I made some royal icing, which I didn't include in this video. But if you watched my Valentine's Day heart sugar cookie video, I explain how I don't really have a recipe for royal icing anyways. So to start, we're going to make the Opa Cookie. This one, I feel, turned out pretty nice. I really was happy with the result. And I started by flooding my cookie with some white royal icing. This is done just as normal, piping the outline and then filling it in and smoothing out any of those imperfections. Of course, this flooding was not the nicest flooding in the entire world, but it worked. I also came up with these designs. I drew little sketches of them on my iPad in advance, and I did them all circles just to keep it basic. After the cookie was set, I took some brown royal icing so I could make a big arrow going down from the top, and I filled that in as well. Again, things are still going smoothly. I'll tell you when the cookies start getting bad. After the brown arrow, I took a thick black royal icing and I piped two little horns on the sides. I really like this design because it's simple, but it's really fun looking. You can tell what character it's supposed to be, and it's just easy to do, easy to execute. The next design is going to be Aang, so I dyed my royal icing to this peachy nude kind of color and filled it in. This is going to be Aang's face. So when I was trying to come up with my designs, I wanted to do really simple, easy designs because I was kind of rushed when I was making these. A lot has been going on in my life for the past 6 weeks now, and I haven't had much time for filming. So I was in a little bit of a rush when I was making these, and you'll see how that affects the cookies later on in this video. But for this design, I kept it quite similar to the Appa design. Flooded my cookie. After it's set, I made some blue royal icing and I drew an arrow going down from the top again, but this one is smaller, and that's because I put eyes and eyebrows underneath this arrow. So as you can see, for this cookie, the outline set really fast, and now the royal icing that I piped in the middle to flood it and fill it in, it's not connecting to the outline seamlessly. You can definitely still see the outline on many parts of this arrow, which is not really what we want because it doesn't look as smooth and clean and nice. That happened because I was in a rush, like I said, so I was using my oven to dehydrate the cookies and get the royal icing to set quickly. However, this cookie was still kind of warm when I started piping that arrow, and since the outline of the arrow was so thin, it set really fast. After that, I used some white royal icing to pipe the glowing eyes, and then the same thicker black royal icing to pipe some eyebrows. These eyebrows I felt were a little dramatic, but you know what? We're doing this inspired by the new Avatar: The Last Airbender show, and Aang's eyebrows are thicker than the cartoon Aang's eyebrows, so it works, right? They could have been a bit smaller and thinner, but that one wasn't the worst cookie. I was still pretty happy with the end of that one, because you could tell it was Aang. This next cookie is going to be Prince Zuko, so I dyed two colors of a brownish, dark reddish color, and started with the first one right here. I did this quarter-ish of the cookie. This is going to be his scar, and then I grabbed the darker shade so I could pipe an eye on top. Honestly, I should have piped the eye first and then the rest of the scar around it so I didn't get that weird effect where I had the lighter red showing up in the darker red, but it's fine, it's whatever. Then I filled in the rest of the cookie with the same royal icing I used for Aang's face. I actually made a second Zuko face cookie off camera, and it looks better than the one that you're seeing on camera, so you can see that in the final beauty shots of the cookie. After the base set, I used black royal icing to pipe this kind of messy shape on top to be his hair. And again, I piped the hair too low. It looks weird because it's covering so much of his face, but in the cookie, in the final shot, it looks a little bit better. This next one, we're starting with a nice green base. I was trying to think of something to do for the earthbending themed cookie, and I just didn't have any ideas. I wanted to do something Toph related, but instead I just did a green base and then I piped the earthbender symbol on top in yellow royal icing. I did the same thing for the water tribe symbol, which you're going to see, but of course that was done in 2 shades of blue. Like I said, quick and simple and easy designs because I didn't have a lot of time to work on these cookies. When the base set, I used the same green to just make the outline pop a bit more. I don't know, I kind of wanted it to stand out. And then here I am piping the logo. It doesn't look the best, but I had another extra cookie, so I redid this one as well. The cookie you see in the final shots at the beginning and end of this video is not this one. It looks slightly better. I also don't own a projector, so I was doing this freehand, just looking at the symbol on my phone and then copying it onto the cookie. I do want to buy a projector, and I wish that I had bought one before I made these cookies because this would have looked much nicer, much cleaner. But freehanding it still worked. Oh, and here we go, moving on to the water tribe symbol. This one, it was the worst one, you guys. It looks good so far because it's just the flooding. But when I pipe that symbol on, please just close your eyes and look away because I'm so embarrassed. It's just so bad, but I'm putting it in the video anyways to show you guys. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I'm clearly out of practice because I haven't worked on sugar cookies in a long time. And I made so many rookie mistakes. With this cookie, I ran into the same issue where I put the cookie in the oven on a really low temp to dehydrate the royal icing and have it set faster, but then it was warm when I started piping on the design. So these lines were setting really fast, and it's just, it looks bad. Usually I can freehand pipe stuff and it looks beautiful and stunning, but this one, it just didn't want to work. If I had known that the icing was going to set so fast, I probably would have done that outline first and then put everything in the middle so I didn't have these weird sides that were lumpy when it went over top of the design in the middle, but it looks so bad. In my final beauty shots, I tried to cover that cookie as much as I could. Moving on to the next one, we have Sokka's boomerang. So starting with a white base, and then we're going to pipe the boomerang on top, again freehanding it. If I had the projector for this one, I'm sure it would have looked a lot cleaner and a lot better. But this one didn't turn out as bad as I was anticipating. I flooded my cookie with white royal icing, let it set, and then here we have a nice shade of blue and a shade of gray. Starting with the blue, I was looking at a picture of Sokka's boomerang as I was creating this, and I just quickly tried to make the shape as fast as I could so it didn't set and I didn't run into the same problems as Aang's blue arrow. After I piped the blue, I added the gray on the edge, just copying the picture pretty much. And I used a toothpick to try and get things looking better. Then I put black icing into this piping bag and I cut the tiniest hole, so I got this really thin stream of icing coming out so that I could make the outline. This part was kind of fun. It brought it together and it really reminded me of those cartoon comic book cakes, but it's Sokka's boomerang on a cookie. I don't know if any of you noticed, but this is not the same boomerang that you just watched me pipe in the other clip. This is a different one. I felt that this one looked slightly better. Also, the outline that I did on that first one looked really bad, so I didn't want to put it in the video. However, I didn't want to have to use this cookie because I accidentally touched it at the top and ruined the flooding. But that's that cookie. Not super bad, but definitely could have been better. And our last cookie is going to be Aang's glider. So I started with this nice light brownie beige color for the base, just so all the cookies were different colors, you know? And I filled it in, flooded it as normal, and let it set. So to start Aang's glider, I took brown royal icing and piped a big line down the middle to be like the base, the stick. Made it a little thick because I was going to pipe an outline on top after. So I didn't want it to like disappear basically. Then I switched over to some orange icing and my camera wasn't recording when I started piping. Ugh, so annoying, but that's what happens when you're in a rush. I basically piped these 4 shapes on the side of the stick to be like the wings of the glider. Then I put the brown icing into a bag and cut a smaller hole, just like the black icing, so I could make these thin lines to be like the little sticks, and to do the outline on top of that main brown line in the middle, just to make it pop a bit more and to cover up all the other lines. However, I feel like this outline was especially bad. It's so crooked and just not good. I was so not pleased with myself, but I was like, I'm gonna finish and make it into a video anyways, because I can talk about how bad I did. To finish it off, I added some orange lines onto the glider to give it more detail, and there we have it. Some kind of okay-ish looking avatar cookies. I will say they do look nice in this lighting, in this beautiful shot, but that's just because I used a nice camera to film them. Let this be a reminder that things don't always work out, and sometimes you're gonna bake something with so much confidence, but it's gonna turn out bad. I might remake these cookies one day and do them so much better, but until then, here's my failed video. I hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to leave a comment down below telling me what you think. You can be honest, don't worry. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!